But then when I started running, then I found that there was like this whole other community out there, and it just broadened the blog, and the blog then became, less food as to what I'm eating and more running and training and stuff like that. And people were interested. Like they were like, wow, you're doing this? And
Yes.
I'm like, yeah, like I'm doing it. I don't understand it, especially when they knew me. They're like, you don't run. And I'm like, I know.
Hello.
Hello.
Now we're British.
Well, summer's arrived in Ontario overnight. Once again, no spring.
Yes, because I was running in with a hat and gloves and jacket last week.
That's right. And today we were in shorts and a t-shirt and we were sweating our butts off. So that's pretty typical. But summer makes me think of concerts, which I'm really missing. Second summer in a row without a concert is going to be a bummer.
You like your concerts.
I do, and that's why I'm wearing my Elevation t-shirt today. They are a U2 tribute band from Toronto, and we've seen them many times. And I just wanted to give them a shout out and support local music as much as you can, because who knows when we're going to be back to a real concert.
One day.
One day.
I heard that in the States, they're having concerts again, and that if you had your vaccine, you sit on this side of the stadium. Without your vaccine, you sit on that side of the stadium.
No.
And let's see how that works out.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Oh, it's going to happen. That's going to happen. But let's just see how it works out.
All right, so we're off our soapbox. What's going on?
What's happened with GottaRunRacing?
Well, our Monarch relay and virtual are still happening, still looking for runners. We're looking for virtual runners. It's open to all North Americans for the virtual. And guess who signed up for our relay? They're going to do a Burlington leg. That's a clue. And you're wearing the hat.
Oh.
That's right. The Grim Reaper from around the bay and his friend Andrea are running the relay through Burlington.
Wow.
Isn't that cool?
Did you get to go up that hill as well? I don't think you touched.
Ooh.
I don't know.
You know what? I don't think so, because we're trying to stay on trail or paved trail. But it could be part of the around the Bay route, because part of that is on a paved trail.
Do you think he's going to wear his Green Reaper uniform?
I kind of think he might, because his email address is Grim Reaper related.
That would be
pretty funny. Yeah,
that would be funny.
Yeah, it would be. Cool. I want to carry his, what do you call it? The Sith or the, what's that thing that they use?
The sickle, isn't it?
Sickle? Yeah, whatever. I want one of those. And we run the North. Yep. We're now in Ontario. Wow. So we're making our way across Canada. We just crossed into Ontario. You can still sign up at GottaRunRacing.com. After May, we'll be hitting Quebec.
Oh.
La Belle Provence.
We know a lot of runners in Quebec based on this podcast. That'd be cool.
Yes, we do. Yeah.
So you can still sign up, all ready to go.
You sure can.
Cool.
On today's podcast, from Trenton, Ontario, we have Dawn Desarmeau. And she is a ultra runner who has a very interesting story. I don't want to give too much away, but I am friends with her on Instagram, and one of her posts caught my eye about a month ago, and I thought, I think we need to talk to her. So stay tuned for Dawn from Trenton.
Coming up.
Welcome, Dawn from Trenton, Ontario.
Thank you for having me.
This is great.
Is this your first podcast?
It is. Yeah, I've never done anything like this before. I know I'm a newbie, so like feel free to guide me or shut me off.
No problem. No problem.
What are you drinking today? Anything?
Funny, I have my Yeti 100K run finishers cup with some built recovery drinks. So.
Oh, yes, I saw your post. You went for a 10K this morning.
I did, and it was super hot already. I was out there not really early, but around 9 o'clock. And it was already really hot, but I love it. I'm a heat runner. Give me the heat, give me the humidity. I love it. I cannot run in the cold. So as soon as this weather turns warm, you will not see me inside.
The reason that we asked you to be on today is I'm not sure how long I've followed you on Instagram. And you know how you follow lots of people and you see posts that, you know, when people post a run, you kind of gloss over it unless something catches your eye. And one day you had posted a link to your Huffington Post article and it caught my eye.
Yep.
And I checked it out and I'm like, Norm, you got to check this out. This lady has been on quite the journey and is still on an amazing journey. So that's why we wanted to talk to you today.
Mm-hmm.
That's how HuffPost found me as well. I believe it was either an Instagram post that had maybe linked. I blogged at the time back. That article was done in 2014.
Right.
So I think it might have, they might have seen my blog at that time, which was super focused on weight loss and running. It was actually called Shrinking Inked Girl because Inked Girl 55 was my old Instagram handle that is now no longer.
Right.
But they reached out and we did a great little interview and it just, that blew up. I got a lot of feedback from that article. Even today yesterday I had posted kind of a flashback post as a precursor leading up to this interview so that I could, maybe pique some interest with some people. And that post received tons of likes on it, but everybody likes a feel-good story.
Tell us about the sports or activities that you were involved in as a kid.
Sure. You could ask my parents. They will tell you if an activity came up, I needed to try it. I did everything from soccer to softball to fastball, accordion lessons. Anything and everything. I just wanted to do it. But I'm also a person who, it takes me a little while to find my niche and what I love because I get bored very, very easily, which is surprising that running can keep me motivated because it's so monotonous. It's the same. But yeah, I played sports all through like elementary school, high school. When I was older and became married, I was playing ball hockey for a ladies team.
Wow.
And I golf. So I was always doing something.
Right.
But then I got into that. I got into the whole married, 3 kids, and the weight comes on. I moved away to Alberta. I wasn't at home anymore. And so I just got comfortable.
Right. And is that when the weight came on? Is that like when you kind of had a lifestyle change? Is that what happened?
Yeah. As soon as I had my kids, my first 2 kids, I had the first 2 kids living out west in Alberta. Mm-hmm. And I was then at that point, that's when I had my very first weight loss surgery was in, I think it was 98, 99 in Alberta. And I don't even know my recorded weight at that appointment. Like I couldn't even tell you. It was more than the 284 at my revision surgery that I had.
Right.
But I had my original weight loss surgery back in 99, 98, and it worked. I lost all my weight, and then I ended up with a complication 10 years later and had to have that surgery reversed, which ultimately led me to gain 100 pounds in a year.
Wow.
So that was when I ballooned up to the 284 again. And I was like, wait a second, I can't do this.
Before 98, when you were fit, did you have a weight problem before that?
I was. I was never thin. Like even through my teenage years, like I wasn't obese or heavy. I was just always the bigger girl. Like, every group has their, the pretty one, the skinny one, the funny one. I was just the bigger funny girl. Like I was never thin. ever in my whole life. I was always chunky.
Sure. And did you run in addition to doing those sports? No.
Never.
And
I
didn't want
pick
to.
up running. I had no interest. I thought it was stupid. Like I had no interest. Like I would see people running and be like, well, that's dumb. Like, what are you doing? Like, are you running to catch a ball? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, because I was sport motivated all the time, I honestly thought people who ran were just silly.
And you were mostly on team sports too, right?
I played pretty much every sport I played was a team sport.
Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. Post surgery, how many years before you decided to take up running, and what was the reason?
I had my surgery in the States in August of 2010, and for the first year I hadn't done hardly anything. It was mostly just letting the weight come off. Mm-hmm. And then in 2011, I knew that I had to start doing something. So I don't know why, but I thought I'm going to go for a run. And I don't know what put it in my head. I honestly don't even, I wish I could say that I had this godly light moment that came to me and said, go run. I don't know what it was. I just put some shoes on. It was dark. I refused to run in the daylight because I didn't want anyone to see me. So I would go out in the darkest of clothing with nothing reflective on.
Oh no.
Because I didn't know. And I would just run around my neighborhood and I would try to go from street light to street light and see how far I could go. And then because I'm super competitive, but only with myself. I don't like to compete with other people. Like I just, because I'm not elite, I'm not fast, I'm not any of those things, but I'm very competitive with myself.
Right.
And I need to set goals. So it would be like, okay, well, I made 2 street lights tonight, so I'm going to do 3 street lights. And that's what there was no distance. There was no nothing. I was running in like these really crappy sneakers. Like they weren't even, I just didn't know. Right. But that was the bug. In 2011, I started slowly and did my first race, my first 5K in April of 2012.
Wow. Now, when you first started running, did you tell anyone that you were doing this?
Oh, heck no.
No.
My, not at first, because I didn't want anyone to, because I live in a small town. Right. I thought, oh my gosh, if I start posting about this, then people are going to go looking for me and be like, what are you doing? But once I got into it, then I found the community, because my Instagram and stuff, the original one, started off as a weight loss account and food, like it would be, what am I eating and stuff like that. But then when I started running, then I found that there was like this whole other community out there, and it just broadened the blog, and the blog then became, less food as to what I'm eating and more running and training and stuff like that. And people were interested. Like they were like, wow, you're doing this? And
yes.
I'm like, yeah, like I'm doing it. I don't understand it, especially when they knew me. They're like, you don't run. And I'm like, I know.
Was this running after the second surgery, was the weight loss coming off by itself, or was the running helping it happen?
Well, I think what was happening was it took me a year to lose probably 110, I think it was 110 pounds I had lost in that first year. So I was feeling really good. And I knew that I needed to exercise, and I knew that I needed to do something. And I wasn't ready to hit up a gym and start, slinging weights in front of a bunch of people. Like that was not interesting to me at all. Right. And this was something that that I knew that I could do by myself, didn't need anyone around, could do it in the dark. And I could feel myself getting stronger, and it only exacerbated the weight loss. Like it definitely expedited the process. It helped quite a bit. But to me, it's just, this is what I did, and it worked. And I haven't stopped since 2011. I went from absolutely zero running to doing 100K on a treadmill this year. So, to me, I just got to keep going. But fun fact, I ran my first 56K before I had even run a marathon.
Nice.
Spoken like a true ultra.
I got, I know. I got in with my good friend Josh Holmes, who is the founder of Run It Fast. So I kind of found his group first. And so we would be talking, and he's super encouraging, super motivating. And he's like, you need to come to Kentucky. We need to get you on the ultra circuit. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, you're going to run for 10 hours overnight around a half-mile horse track. And I'm like, well, that doesn't sound fun at all. No, he's like, no, trust me. It's called Run Under the Stars. It's in Paducah, Kentucky. And I'm like, okay. So I drove myself to Paducah, Kentucky, and the race starts at like 8 p.m. or 8 till 6. Yeah. So it's 10 hours around a gravel horse track, half-mile horse track. And you just keep going and keep going. And there's,
I was going to say, had you done much?
I had only run a half.
You'd only run a half, and you hadn't done a lot of night running other than around your neighborhood, right?
Just around the neighborhood, yeah.
Right. So that's...
I had probably done like a handful of 10Ks. I might have even done another half. Like I can't remember the total, but I do know that I ran that 56. I did 56K that night in 9 hours and 40 minutes. And then I was hooked. I was like, wow. Because everybody's coming up to you, and you're like, you're an ultra runner. I'm like, I'm not even a marathoner. And they're like, well, technically you are.
Who needs a marathon when you can run an ultra?
Exactly.
Wow. So that was
I loved it.
Big step out of your comfort zone, for sure.
It was, and it also got me into trail running, which I love trail running. Like when I found out that you can run a trail, marathon, ultra, and nobody cares about how fast you're going. Nobody is like standing there with signs saying almost there. It's just everybody's like, they're just so friendly and they cheer you on. But to me, I just found that the competitiveness of road racing was so difficult. Like I don't like that. Like I don't like to turn around and see, 3 people behind me and wonder, is that the only 3 people behind me? Am I in the back? Like am I that slow? And whereas when you're out on the trails, you have no idea.
Because when you're out on the trail, you may not see someone for an hour. It's quite possible. Oh God, yeah. Right? Yeah.
Yeah. And it also gives the illusion that you're running fast when you're running past the trees.
I recall being at Sulphur, and I'm pretty sure that I spent probably a good 15 kilometers completely alone. I remember being out there in that heat, hallucinating. I was convinced that somebody had pizza and salt and vinegar chips because I could smell them. And I was nowhere near an aid station. I was in the middle of nowhere.
Okay. Tell us about the Yeti challenge that you took on then.
Oh, those darn Yetis, they get me every time. Every single email that comes into my box, I just, damn you, Jason Green. The Yeti challenges were, I did 4 of them. Yes, I've done 4 of them now. So my very first one was the Yeti 24-hour, where you run 5.16 miles every 4 hours for 24 hours. So of course I wanted to make sure that I did a 50K. So I altered I think it was 5.34 or something like that, whatever I had to do, because I couldn't just do what it said. I always had to do more. So I did the very first one. I decided to do that one on a treadmill because it was, I don't even remember what month I did that, but I just knew that I wasn't going to be running out on the streets at 1 a.m. by myself. It didn't feel safe. And so I didn't want to adjust my schedule. I wanted to just run on the treadmill, take my break, get back on it. And so I did that. And then they came out with the 50-mile challenge, and that's 50 miles in 24 hours. So again, you just increase your distance for that. So I did that one. I thought, well, I'm going to try that one on the treadmill again. And then they came out with like a Yeti 24-hour where you had to beat your original 24-hour. So I did that. And then they sucked me in with the 100K. And the 100K was 5.16 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours.
Oh, for 48.
So that one, 48, yeah. So I think I kind of just wanted to punish myself a little bit, like, because everybody knows running on a treadmill is difficult. And I think that because I knew I was going to have to be doing it for so long, I wanted to really, really mentally get my head into it, which was the whole point of like when you're running every 4 hours for 48 hours, that's a long time on your feet to go nowhere.
Do you think about how far do you think you can go now? What do you think you can do now that you've done that?
In terms of distance?
Well, distance wise,
yeah,
I would love to do 100. I would love to do it at Sulphur Springs. Sulphur Springs Trail Race had right before the lockdown, like before COVID hit. I know I was I think I was thinking of signing up for the 50 again, for the 50 miler. And then it was going to be canceled. But I'm pretty sure I looked at that and they had a 200-mile option. And pretty sure that I could do. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that I could have registered for 100, and I wasn't ready at that time, by no means.
Right.
But I think that if they come back, that would be the one that I would do because I know the course. I've run that course, I think 3 or 4 times now. So I'm comfortable with it. Like I know where the hills are. I know where it's hard. I know where you have to go faster and where you have to slow down. So I think that would be like a really good race for me to do 100-miler.
Yeah, that's true. And it's 20K loops is nice because it's not too short and you can kind of plan.
You got your crew waiting for you.
You got
always
your crew.
On the same spot.
Yeah. That would be
I've been crewless, so I would have to actually find myself a crew because I remember when I did the 50, it was the 4. Oh, hi crew. I had nobody. I drove myself to the race and I remember leaving the race and the only way that I knew what loop that I was on was I would wear elastic bands on my wrist, and every time I finished a loop I would move it over to the other arm.
Smart.
So I knew how many I had left. And I remember when I got down to that one last elastic and I was like, oh, this is it. And then I got back up and then I'm like, oh, there's just nobody here.
Sprinkled some road races back into your training, but is that out of sort of wanting to see that location? For example, you wanted to do Vegas, or is that something you think you'll always do, a little bit of road, a little bit of trail?
I think that I might try and do like maybe a virtual trail this summer, like something. I'm going to try and find a virtual trail race that I can sign up for.
Like we might have one for you.
Yes. You know that we're race directors as well. Did you know that?
Yes, yes.
So Chase the Coyote will have a virtual option.
50K.
Oh, okay. Actually,
just saying. Just saying.
Just throwing it out there.
I'm pretty sure. I think I have Instagram friends April and Mel Boltby.
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty sure that they
Mel
run those. They were at Sulphur and cheered me on when I was there. I remember seeing them, but I'm pretty sure I've seen them post about Chase the Coyote, and so
for sure. Yeah.
Hey.
Other thing I noticed on your Instagram is you are a reader, and you posted a book that I'm itching to get, and that's the new one by Dean Karnazes. Have you read it yet?
I did. Yeah, I finished that one.
How was it?
It was good. It was. It's to be expected. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, but I get a lot of motivation from people, especially people who aren't 20 and writing about how they're, crushing Western states and stuff like that. Yeah. I get a lot of motivation from people who are 50 and above and running races. And it was really good. It was a good read. No spoilers. But I did. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I try to pick up as many running books as I can. Probably my favorite running book is Scott Jurek.
Okay.
What did you say?
Mine is Born to Run.
Oh, okay. I do have that too. Yeah, I read that. But Scott Jurek's North, I really, really enjoyed that book. And I love Scott Jurek. I met him in Vegas when I was there. And that is probably my biggest fangirl moment, when I was just overcome and didn't even know how to speak to talk to him. And I was just like, picture.
People who have not seen you in 10 years or 15 years, and you come across them, what is the reaction? What do they even recognize you? Or do you
Yeah, most people, I have not changed. Like, even if you look back at the majority of, like, I always call them my Fat Don pictures, but if you look at those pictures in my profile, like, my face is still pretty much the same. Like, to me, I think so. But a lot of people, they can't believe, like, they'll see me and they'll see the weight loss, because I'm still maintaining 11 years later, I'm still maintaining 100-pound weight loss. So, I have gained. I've done that whole weight loss surgery regain. It's difficult after all these years. I still am struggling with it.
Right.
I'd like to drop another, 20 pounds. But when people see me, first thing they say is, oh my gosh, you look great. And, what do you do? And first thing I say to them is, I run.
Yeah. Can you share some motivational stuff that they reached out to you and they said, because of you, this is what I did? Something that stands out.
Yeah, I've gotten, like I said, quite a few people have reached out to me, and a lot of it has never been about the weight loss. Nobody reaches out to me and says, oh my God, this is so great, I want to have weight loss surgery. Nobody has ever said that to me. Like, ever. Everybody who's reached out to me has said, I can't believe that you never ran in your whole life and now you're running ultra marathons. And I'm like, yeah, I am. And when they reach out, it's a lot of questions. It's questions. Like, people just want to know, how did I do it? Why did I do it? Like, and to me, it was just setting goals. And then I will get DMs every once in a while from people who will be like, Dawn, I ran my first 5K this weekend. And I'm like, awesome, like, amazing. And I will cheer everybody's victory. Like, everybody who has a victory, I'm right there cheering for you, because that's just who I am. Like, if you tried to do something and you finished it, that's a win.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
If anybody wants to get a hold of you, where do they reach you?
Oh, yeah. I know you have some, you're partnered up with a few different brands. So if you'd like to give them a shout out, please go ahead.
Yes, absolutely. This year, I finally became a Dirtbag ambassador, which was amazing because ever since I started running trails, I found their group, and they're just such a positive, happy group. Like it's not about promoting or trying to pimp a product. It's just about a community. And so go Dirtbags. I love to be a dirtbag runner. Alter Ego is another ambassadorship that I have. They make the best running hats and sunglasses, and I love them. And again, also another great group of people who just cheer you on. And Road ID. I don't think that I go nowhere without my Road ID. So I love them. And you can always find links to everything on my Instagram and Twitter.
Well, we like to finish our podcast with a little bit of rapid fire. First thing that comes to mind, okay? Bon Jovi or Duran Duran?
Bon Jovi.
Favorite 80s movie?
Oh, Breakfast Club.
Nice.
I had that in there.
Well, one of the questions was Pretty in Pink or Breakfast Club, so you answered it.
Breakfast Club, yeah.
Instead of asking another sport you'd like to excel in, would you ever do triathlon?
No.
Because of the swimming or biking or both?
I think the swimming. I don't like open water swimming because I'm always thinking there's snakes in the water. So yeah,
right.
No.
Got it. Okay.
Never. Favorite
curse word?
You can say it.
Fuck!
Is that what you say? Is that what you say when you stump your toe?
On the trail?
Yeah.
A place you most want to travel to?
London. England.
England? Yeah. To do the marathon?
Yes.
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 Yeah. That's a tough one to get into, eh?
Yeah.
Okay, last one. Pick a superpower.
Ooh. I'd like to vanish, like disappear and float around.
Keep going.
That's two. That's flying in.
Spy on people and and hear what they're saying. And yeah, that'd be cool.
But not run faster or not anything like that. Just
no, because I no. I've never dreamed of being fast or anything like that. I think it's just, for me, it's no.
You don't want to be the Flash?
No. I just want to be invisible.
The longer the race takes, the more fun you have, right?
That's right.
I get my money's worth at every race I pay for.
You got it. Thank you so much, Dawn. It was really nice chatting with you today.
Thank you.
Cool.
Alrighty.
All right.
We'll let you go.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
Okay, take care.
Okay. Have a great day.
You too.
There you have it. Dawn. What a story. A lot of energy.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah. It's interesting how an athlete, but didn't know anything about running.
Yes. Even though all the sports she mentioned involve running.
You're running. So what are you doing? Just don't have to chase something. Just go for a run. But anyway, she had to either chase a ball or a puck or something.
Yeah, exactly.
So now she's not chasing anything.
Except the finish line, which is a good thing to be chasing.
And she lost a lot of weight. Wow.
She's very positive.
Yes.
And she's just attacking ultras with everything she has. And I love it. On a treadmill. Hello. That alone shows her mental fortitude. On a treadmill.
Everything she was saying has the mind of an ultra.
Yes.
Because...
Exactly.
What did she say? When I said, well, that's an ultra runner. When you do an ultra without doing a marathon, that's an ultra runner. You're thinking like an ultra runner.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to eat 2 burritos before I do this race. That's an ultra runner. Like, that doesn't surprise us.
No, not at all. Yeah. She's one tough cookie.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that was done.
Hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah. See you next time.
Ciao.